Hey, welcome back to another Live, Learn, Love, LaJoyce. I am so excited to have you with me. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell, like this video, comment, share, do it all. So, as you know, my last video was in Asheville, and I do have some other little trips planned, but today we are going to talk about research for your trips, research, and not in a sense of itineraries, setting activities, but research as in we know that this pandemic has caused, different precautions and different restrictions, limitations to come up for just different areas, different countries. So we want to look into that. Those are things that are very important, and you want to make sure that you stay up on this stuff if you are going to start traveling. So let's get ready to get into it. I'm not doing wine today. We're not doing that today. We are actually doing kombucha today. So this is Health Aid. I love their kombucha. No, I don't have a sponsorship, but hey, Health Aid, if you want to give me one though, that's perfectly fine. I love y'all's kombucha. Been drinking it for a while. This is a new flavor. This is tropical punch, and I'm gonna try it for y'all today. Y'all are gonna get my initial reaction. I've never tried this one before. Also, if you want to try it, I have only seen it in Trader Joe's. That's where I got this one from. So if you want to give it a try for all of my fellow kombucha lovers. Yeah, give it a try. Y'all see me struggling. I can't even open the goddamn thing. Okay. All right, so here we go. Let me turn it upside down just to make sure we don't have any things that need to be mixed in, any cultures on the bottom. All right. Be careful when you shake it up too. I don't shake it, I just turn it upside down because it is like, it's kind of like your soda. So if you shake it up, it's gonna fly all over the place when you open it. All right, here we go. This is good. This is really good. Y'all, this is good. They say on the back that this is a blend of pineapple, mango, and orange. This is really good. My kombucha lovers, even if you ain't a kombucha lover, y'all should give this a try. Figure out if you got a Trader Joe's. Listen, I'm upset because I don't have a Trader Joe's that's near me. It's like 30 minutes away. But hey, I'm willing to drive ever so often, and I found this. So listen, give this one a try. This actually isn't nearly as strong as others. The flavor isn't nearly as potent as others. But this actually might be like a good flavor if you're trying to get into kombucha. Like I said, it's not as potent, it's not as strong. Definitely, if you're new to kombucha, you can stomach this. This is really good. It was really good. But yeah, let's get into today's topic, okay? Alrighty. So today we talking about research. So y'all know we've already done a video on setting your itinerary, looking for good activities, stuff like that. But today we all know about the pandemic that's occurring. And so different countries and locations are requiring vaccine, no vaccine. We've seen that mask mandates are dropping, stuff like that. So it's going to be extremely important now that when you travel, you actually do some research on what are the restrictions or what are the requirements that you need to enter into these countries or enter into these destinations so you can actually, have fun and be safe while you're there. So I wanted to do a video on doing some research. So I have some countries that are on my list for this year. However, I am not going for the vaccine the first time. So this is how I kind of view the vaccine. I feel like the vaccine is something like a new software for the iPhone. You always wait until after it's gone through the first, second, third group to see what are the effects, what's happening with other phones, what's going on. And so that's kind of what my approach to the vaccine is. I want to make sure, I want to see the research, I want to see the effects of what's happening to people who are like me, so Black women. I want to see, what are the different variations. Of course, no one is the same. Of course, no one is going to have the exact same effects. But for my personal beliefs, I am going to just take it that way. However, I still want to travel. So what I am doing is actually, I am going to look at the different requirements that are set in stone right now. So if different countries obviously are requiring that you have a vaccine right now, it's probably not going to change within the next 9 months, which I want to travel to certain countries within the next 9 months. So considering my views on the vaccine and me waiting to get to the vaccine or get the vaccine, I am going to just do some research on what I can do to prepare myself if I'm going to choose to travel and not have the vaccine, or what kind of avenues I can find if I just choose to wait and get the vaccine. So one of the countries that is on my list is Ghana. So I'm just gonna look up Ghana right now, and I'm gonna see what are the restrictions. So Ghana, COVID restrictions or COVID entry requirements, that will be good to start. So the first link that pops up is the U.S. Embassy in Ghana. So usually they will outline just what are the requirements for entry. And so as I'm looking, obviously it's been in effect since February the 1st. So obviously you have to have, if you're coming via an airline, you have to have a negative COVID test taken within 3 days of travel. So my assumption is that within 3 days of arriving to their country, you have to have a negative COVID test. That was effective January 26th. They said this was last updated on the 1st of February. Let's see. Of course, if you have any type of symptoms or anything of that nature, they're of course going to recommend that you do not travel to their country. So stuff like that. They are adhering to social distancing precautions for their restaurants. That's what I'm saying. They are mandating face masks, and the police are enforcing that there. Let's see. I don't see anything about, oh, here we go, the vaccine. So in Ghana, for their citizens, their government, they have not approved the COVID vaccine for use. And so with that being said, I do not see anything that would require U.S. citizens traveling to Ghana to have the vaccine. Of course, this could change at any moment. But you always want to be open to change, or just them updating their requirements, because this is a very serious matter. People obviously are losing their lives because of it, and we know that things can change just in an instant. We've already seen it with schools, we've seen it with states, we've seen it with jobs, so you always want to be open to them saying, okay, well, you have to get the vaccine. And if that would be the case for me, I would probably have to postpone until I am either comfortable, or if I am able to schedule. I know that scheduling appointments for the vaccine right now are super hard, especially if you're not an essential worker or if you do not qualify. So I know right now, like, you have to have certain health things going on with you to qualify, or you have to be an essential worker or some things of that nature. So it can be different. I'm gonna look up one other country that I want to go to, and it is going to be France. I've been to France before. I love France. Love it. I was actually just looking at some videos of when my first time in France. I had such an amazing time. But I do want to go back to France this year. Hopefully, I'll be able to go. So when you enter into France, the first thing that popped up, you have to sign a sworn declaration that you do not have any signs of COVID. I know that specifically here in the US, I know in New York, I went some months ago now, but I know in certain airports in New York, when you come in, you would have to sign a declaration or a piece of paper that says you will quarantine. And if you do not quarantine, and they just so happen to call you or show up to the place where you said you're quarantining at and you are not there, you will get fined. So if this is anything like it, you could get fined. They have the same restriction or the same kind of limitation as Ghana. So they expect if you are over the age of 11, you have to have a negative COVID test between 72 hours, between 72 hours, at least 72 hours before arriving into their country. Let's see if we have any requirements for the vaccine. Let's see. All right. So for France, they actually have approved the COVID vaccine. It looks like it is not a requirement, but the program of disbursement to their residents has already began. Yeah, it's already began. So it's not a requirement just yet, it looks like, but they have started the program in their country. As of right now, even though I want to go to France, I actually wouldn't be able to get in there right now. I'm hoping that, in the next few months, as we've seen, mandates have started lifting here in the US. Hopefully, they'll start lifting for other countries as well. Hopefully France will be on the list, I hope. But as of right now, US citizens are not permitted to get into France right now. And that does make me sad. That does make me sad. January 31st is when they close their borders to travel to and from countries outside of the European area. So, of course, if you're not a citizen, I guess from a European country, you wouldn't be able to. Apparently, if you do have a COVID test, you can get in, but I assume that is for essential workers. And obviously I would be considered a non-essential traveler unless my job, hint, hint, would like to send me. But yeah, it would be non-essential, so I wouldn't be able to get into there, unfortunately. They also have a curfew in place, so I don't know how fun France would be if I were to go. When I was there, of course, there was no curfew. I was having a good time. But there are those restrictions in place as of right now. March the 5th was the last time this was updated. So this is pretty up-to-date information. So that kind of sucks for me. One other place I'm gonna look at, which this place originally it was on my list, but then I started thinking about it and I was like, ooh, the bugs, ooh, so far, ooh, I don't know. So let's see, Sydney, Australia. So Australia, let's see. Let's see. And for those of you, obviously y'all can't see my computer, but if you just type in like Google, whatever place you want to go to, and say requirements for entry, usually like the first couple of links, they will give you all of this information, and you'll be able to see what is required of you to enter. So normally I try to use the usembassy.gov, the usembassy.gov website, because one, it's usually always up to date. And when I say always up to date, usually like a month usually is updated every month, and they do it by country, so it's easier, you know, just to see. They also break down the information so it's easy to understand. This was actually updated today. So let's see. They have started, I don't know if they started the vaccine, but they have the same requirement as Ghana and France. So 72 hours negative test before coming in or attempting to come in. Let's see if we have anything for the vaccine. They have started distributing the vaccine. It doesn't look like it is required. Not yet. Yeah. It is not required right now. And also right now, it's the same thing with France. US citizens are not permitted to come in right now. If you are trying to come in, you do have to have, like I said, the negative COVID test within the 72 hours before attempting to come in. And then you will also be screened once you do come in. I know a lot of places, they do their screenings when you're coming in. Let's see. I'm pretty sure non-essential travel is not permitted. Yes, so there are travel bans on non-resident or non-Australian citizens entering Australia right now. Just from doing like a quick glance at these three countries, France, Ghana, and Australia, none of them have said, you know, obviously what their projected time is for opening up to citizens that are not residents of the country. So it does, you know, it might put a damper on my plans for this year. As I can imagine, I did not expect when COVID first hit for this to linger this long. I was just talking about how this is literally between last week and this week. This is the week of anniversaries. This was the week last year where everyone started going home for work from home or school from home, and this is the week. So this thing has been here for 365 days plus now, and I cannot imagine how long it plans to stick around or how long it will take us to get back to a normal life. I personally don't think we're gonna get back to a normal life, you know, what we saw before. I think there are some people who are extremely desiring for us to get there, but I don't think we're gonna get there. So what I will say is, if you are attempting to travel, do your research. And we're not just talking about research about your activities. Yes, it's fun to plan out your itinerary and activities, but what would it be to plan out your itinerary and your activities and where you're gonna go, and then you haven't even looked at the requirements, and you get on a plane and you have not you have not obeyed the requirements, and you have to be sent back home. That would break my heart. So before you even begin to plan an itinerary, before you even just, you know, purchase those tickets, make sure that you look up the requirements with, you know, whatever the country is, if they require the vaccine, if they're even allowing US citizens in right now. That's going to be a very big thing. And also, you know, there are ways to get around non-essential travel. There are ways. But just make sure that you're adhering, because like I said, it would suck to fly to a country and then be denied and be put back on a plane to fly back, or to get to the country and you have to stay there in quarantine for a number of days before you can even pursue that itinerary that you have come up with. So just make sure you do your research. It's certainly a requirement for us travelers now, greater than it was before. Of course, we didn't have to, look at any of these things. I mean, of course, you might want to look if you're going to like places like India, looking at getting certain vaccines for that. But now it's across the board. Everyone needs it almost for everywhere you go. So this was a more realistic, not as fun talk. But hey, I would rather us be informed than to sit around and plan a trip and go and then be let down because we weren't aware of the requirements. So I hope you guys got something out of this video today. Thank you for watching. It was a bit long, but very informative. So make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see y'all next time, okay? Bye.